Have you ever felt like there's something greater inside you? Like your consciousness is connected to something far beyond this reality? What if I told you that you are God? Not a servant, not a follower, but the very creator of your reality? But here's the problem. The system and time have made you forget. Since the day you were born, they taught you that you are small, limited, powerless. That there is a distant God, far away, unreachable. But that's a lie. They don't want you to know the truth. What if this is the missing piece that could change your life forever? Stay until the end, because today, you're going to discover what no one has ever told you about your true power. Everything you believe about yourself was programmed into you. Your name, your identity, your limitations. Everything was imposed on you from birth. But what if I told you that the version of yourself you know isn't who you really are? You are God. But this truth was hidden, distorted, and buried under layers of fear and control. Religions, governments, belief systems. They all have a vested interest in keeping you in the dark. Because a fully awakened being, aware of their true power, cannot be controlled. But today that changes. Today you'll understand why your true nature was concealed. And more importantly, how to reclaim this power and take full control of your reality. Before we continue, hit the like button so more people can access this knowledge. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is the kind of information that can change everything. Now, get ready. Because the truth you're about to uncover can no longer be ignored. Why did the greatest spiritual masters speak in riddles? Why did Jesus say, "The kingdom of God is within you"? And why did Buddha claim that nirvana is accessible to all? Because they knew the truth. But they couldn't reveal it directly. Because the system at the time wouldn't allow it. Now think about it. If this truth were widely accepted, who would lose power? Religions. Governments. The structures that control the world. And here's the mind-blowing part. You have already experienced God. Yes, you've felt this truth before, but you were conditioned to ignore it. Want to know how? If you've ever had a moment of deep peace, if you've ever felt an unexplainable connection with something greater, that was God manifesting within you. But what stops us from accessing this truth all the time? What's the barrier between us and absolute awareness? The ego. And it is the first obstacle we must overcome. Chapter 1. You are God. Have you ever felt like there's something greater inside you? Like your consciousness is connected to something beyond this reality? The concept of God is not some distant entity sitting on a throne in the sky, watching from afar. You are God. This truth has always been hidden behind layers of fear, religious institutions, and the illusions of the ego. The idea of a supreme being separate from us was implanted into our minds to keep us submissive, waiting for something external to save us. But the great revelation is that you have never been separate from the divine. You are a living manifestation of universal consciousness, the creative energy expressed in human form. Now, imagine you were born inside a massive labyrinth, never once seeing the sky. Since childhood, you were taught that the labyrinth is the entire world, that nothing exists beyond it. The walls are high, impenetrable. But one day, you notice a crack in the concrete. Something that shouldn't be there. Curious, you step closer. A sliver of light shines through from the other side. You press your eye against it and, for a brief moment, you see something unimaginable. An open sky, infinite, stretching beyond the walls of the labyrinth. Your heart pounds. But then, a voice speaks behind you. Stop. That's an illusion. You are safe here. And in that instant, someone shoves a concrete block over the crack, sealing the light forever. This labyrinth is your mind. The world taught you that you are small, fragile, and limited. The system wants you to never realize that you can climb these walls and see the infinite. Because if you discover that you are the creator of your reality, the game is over. They lose control over you. The real question is, what does it mean to be God? It's not about arrogance or superiority. It doesn't mean imposing your will on others. Being God means you have the power to create, transform, and transcend. But if that's true, why do we still feel trapped? What prevents us from recognizing this reality? The answer is closer than you think. Chapter 2. The Illusion of the Ego. Imagine you are in a dream, but you don't know you're dreaming. In this dream, you have an identity, a name, a story. You believe everything around you is real. Until suddenly, something happens. A detail doesn't make sense. You start noticing that the logic of this world is distorted. Something feels off. And then, you wake up. The ego is exactly like that. A dream in which you live without realizing it. It is the mask you wear, the identity you believe to be. Your name, your story, your struggles, your desires. All of it was built on layers of conditioning. But you are not that. You are far more than the identity you have assumed. You are not just a body, a personality, a name in a system. You are pure consciousness, limitless. But the ego keeps you blind to this truth, constantly whispering, "This is nonsense. You are just an ordinary human. Accept your insignificance." And you believe it. Because since childhood, you were taught to believe it. School, family, society, all reinforce the idea that you are separate from everything else. They tell you there is you and there is the world. But this is an illusion. Now, think about this. What would happen if, suddenly, you lost everything? Your name, your story, your past. Imagine waking up with no memory, no identity, no references. What would be left? At first, panic would set in. Because the ego would scream, "You need a name. You need a past. Without those, you don't exist." But is that really true? Or is what truly exists the silence behind your mind? Close your eyes. Ask yourself, who am I without my name? Who am I without my story? The silence that follows is your answer. You are something beyond words, beyond concepts. You are pure awareness experiencing itself through human form. But as long as you identify with the ego, you will live confined, trapped in a world of fears, conflicts, and illusions. And the worst part? The ego won't give up easily. It will fight to maintain control. But there is a way to escape this invisible prison. A portal to the truth. And that portal opens when you experience something beyond words. Something that can only be felt. Chapter 3. Direct Experience of God. Have you ever felt a moment of pure presence? A moment where time seemed to stop, where there were no thoughts, no worries, no identity. Only the sensation of existing? That wasn't random. That was a glimpse of reality beyond the ego. True spirituality is not about believing in something. It's about experiencing it. Religions talk about God, books try to explain him, but no words can capture the vastness of direct divine experience. It's like trying to describe the taste of a fruit to someone who has never eaten it. No matter how many words you use, the only way to know is to feel it. And there are moments in life when this experience happens spontaneously. It could be while gazing at the stars, listening to music that touches your soul, or feeling the wind on your face in complete silence. It's an instant where everything disappears, and only presence remains. No thoughts, no identity, no past or future, only the now. And in that moment, you realize that you were never separate from God. But the ego hates that. It pulls you back. The mind screams, "This is just your imagination. You need to think. You need to regain control." And then, the experience dissolves. The connection closes. You return to the illusion of separation. Now, imagine someone blindfolded since birth and told that light does not exist. They grow up believing it. But one day, for a brief moment, someone lifts the edge of the blindfold, and they see a beam of light cutting through their vision. For a second, they know that light is real. But then the blindfold is put back, and they are told it was just their imagination. And now comes the shocking truth. You have already experienced God. You just didn't realize it. Remember that time you were staring into nothing, thinking about nothing, and felt a deep silence inside you? Or that moment when a song gave you chills in a way you couldn't explain? Or when you looked into someone's eyes and felt something beyond words? That was God. But your mind ignored it, rationalized it, convinced you it was just a random feeling. And so, the door closed again. Spirituality is exactly like that. The light has always been there. You have always been part of it. But the mind was conditioned to believe otherwise. And that is why direct experience is so powerful, because it shatters the illusion of separation. But if this state can be felt spontaneously, is there a way to connect with it intentionally? A method to tear off the blindfold and see the light whenever you want? Yes. And it's closer than you think. Chapter 4. Universal Interconnection. Have you ever thought about someone, and then, out of nowhere, they text you? Or walked into a room and instantly felt the energy, even before anyone spoke? That's not a coincidence. That's proof that everything is connected. Science calls it quantum entanglement. Ancient traditions call it cosmic oneness. But in the end, it's the same truth. Nothing in the universe exists in isolation. Every thought, every intention, every action ripples across all existence. Imagine the universe as a massive ocean. Each of us is a wave, but all waves are part of the same water. Even if you see other waves as separate, the truth is that they are just different expressions of the same source. But the ego doesn't want you to see this. It makes you believe you are alone, that your life is only yours, that your actions don't matter beyond yourself. It convinces you that your thoughts are just thoughts. But that's a lie. Your thoughts don't just shape your reality. They shape the entire network of existence. Now, pause for a moment. How many times have you felt something negative, only to see that energy reflected back into your life? You might have thought it was just a coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if every low-frequency emotion you put out creates an invisible wave that returns to you? Imagine being in a pitch-black room, not realizing you're holding a lit match. Slowly, unknowingly, you begin to ignite everything around you. At first, the flames are small. But soon, the fire spreads, consuming everything. And now, you're trapped inside your own creation. You scream, try to put out the flames, but it's too late. You burned yourself in the fire you started. This is what happens with your energy. Every thought you emit expands. If it's destructive, it comes back to you as chaos. If it's elevated, it transforms everything around you. And this isn't just a theory. It's something you can feel. When you enter a tense room, you can sense the heaviness. When you're around someone vibrant and full of life, your own energy shifts. This happens because we are all connected on an invisible level, beyond the physical. But what does this mean in practical terms? It means that you can learn to use this energy to your advantage. And the first step is understanding that everything you do, think, and feel comes back to you in some way. But can this connection be harnessed to reshape your reality? And if so, is there a way to consciously control this interconnection to create the life you want? The answer lies in the next chapter. Chapter 5. Personal transformation. If you truly understood the power you have, how would you use it? If you knew, without a doubt, that everything you feel and project shapes your reality, would you keep feeding the same thoughts? The same emotions? Or would you start rewriting your story? Accepting that you are a divine manifestation changes everything. But there's a problem. Knowing is not enough. How many times have you heard that you should change your mindset, raise your vibration, control your thoughts? The problem isn't a lack of information. The problem is conditioning. Since childhood, you've been programmed to feel small, to fear change, to believe the world happens outside of you, not within you. But what if I told you there's a way to break this cycle? A way to erase this limiting programming and rebuild your consciousness from the ground up? Close your eyes and imagine. You're in a dark room. In front of you, there's a mirror covered in dust. For years, you believed that the dust was you. But as you wipe your hand across it, you realize there's something underneath. You clean a little more. And finally, you see your true reflection. For the first time, you see yourself as you really are. Not how the system taught you. Not how the past shaped you. But as the pure consciousness that has always been there. This is personal transformation. It's not about becoming someone better. It's about remembering who you've always been. And the truth is, this process has already begun. The moment you recognize the illusion of the ego, understand the interconnected nature of existence, and feel a glimpse of the divine, there's no turning back. The veil has been lifted. Now you have to choose. Will you keep playing the same old game, clinging to the same old stories? Or will you take control of your consciousness and rebuild yourself with intention? And how do you do that? How do you consciously shape your energy and begin manifesting a completely new reality? The answer lies in the next chapter. Chapter 6. Conscious Manifestation. Your thoughts create your reality. This is not just a theory, it's a fact. But here's the detail most people don't understand. Thinking is not enough, you have to feel it. The law of attraction doesn't work just because you want something. You can repeat affirmations, visualize wealth, dream of success. But if, deep down, you still feel fear, doubt, or scarcity, what will manifest is the real vibration you carry. Not just the image you created in your mind. The universe doesn't respond to words. The universe responds to frequencies. Now, think of a radio. You want to listen to a specific station, but if your dial is on the wrong frequency, it doesn't matter how much you try, you'll never hear that music. You can scream, beg, complain, it won't make a difference. The only way to tune in is to adjust your frequency. And that's the key to manifestation. You are already creating your reality all the time, but maybe you're tuned into the wrong frequency. Now, close your eyes and imagine yourself living exactly the life you desire. Not as a distant dream, but as something real, happening right now. What do you see? What do you feel? Does your heart race? Does your breathing change? Does your body react? Because this is the difference between creating consciously and living on autopilot. Most people manifest without realizing it, based on fear, worry, and scarcity. But those who truly understand this secret create with intention. And there's a process for this. 1. Vivid visualization. Don't just imagine, see, hear, and feel as if you're already living that reality. 2. Aligned emotion. The feeling must be real. If doubt or resistance exists, the universe will pick up on that frequency and bring more doubt and resistance. 3. Coherent action. You must behave as someone who already lives that reality. How does that version of you think? How do they act? What do they do daily? And maybe the most important part, letting go of control. Because the more you try to force it, the more you show the universe that, deep down, you don't really believe. And manifestation only happens when you vibrate in total trust. But is there a practical way to strengthen this connection with the divine? A way to make manifestation happen faster and more intensely? The answer lies in the next chapter. Chapter 7. Spiritual Practices. Knowing that you are God. Understanding the illusion of the ego. Feeling the universal interconnection. Mastering conscious manifestation. All of these are pieces of the puzzle. But if you don't practice, nothing changes. Knowledge without application is like a map left in a drawer. You can have the perfect map to find treasure, but if you never go looking for it, it's useless. The good news? There are spiritual practices that shatter the veil of illusion and accelerate your awakening. Techniques that silence your mind, that connect you with the divine, that align your energy with the frequency of creation. And here are the most powerful ones. Small blue diamond meditation. If you want to access your true essence, you must learn to silence the noise of the mind. Truth can only be felt in silence. Even if your mind resists, even if it seems pointless at first, persist. What lies on the other side of stillness will change your existence forever. Small blue diamond self-inquiry. Constantly ask yourself, who am I? But don't try to answer with your mind. Just observe. This question dissolves layers of the ego and brings you closer to pure awareness. Small blue diamond conscious gratitude. Most people ask, wish, and wait. But gratitude is already the vibration of manifestation. When you feel deep gratitude for something, you are telling the universe that it already exists. Small blue diamond service to others. It may seem contradictory, but the more you give, the more you receive. The act of serving breaks the ego's cycle, dissolves the illusion of separation, and aligns you with the abundance of the whole. Small blue diamond living with intention. Every thought, every action, every word you put out is a seed planted in the universe. Choose wisely. Ask yourself, is this action aligned with who I want to become? Now you have the tools. You have the knowledge. But all of this means nothing if you don't act. The only question left is, are you ready to apply this knowledge and change your life forever? The answer is already within you. Now you have a choice. Ignore this truth and continue living on autopilot, or embrace your true power and create the reality you desire. But here's the catch. Knowing is not enough. Knowledge without action is useless. The difference between those who awaken and those who stay trapped in illusion is simple. Action. So tell me in the comments, what has held you back from realizing this truth until now? Fear, doubt, conditioning? Now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Small blue diamond, subscribe now to continue this journey of awakening. Small blue diamond, turn on notifications so you never miss the next videos, because this is just the beginning. And now,